I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I really like fighting games. I am a big fan of 2D fighters. You got Dragon Ball FighterZ, King of Fighters, Street Fighter. A lot of them have the word fighter in them. You know something else that I love? Anime adaptations. I mean, sometimes they're good. Fatal Fury, that was good. Darkstalkers, as long as we're focusing on the Japanese one, that was good. Dragon Ball, that's good too. There are a lot of good ones. What I'm about to show you isn't. Today I bring you Art of Fighting, the movie. If you don't know about The Art of Fighting, it's a fighting game series of 3 games created by SNK, the company behind Metal Slug and the King of Fighters. It tells the story of Ryo Sakazaki and Robert Garcia, 2 super cool karate dudes going around and beating bad guys up for doing bad things like kidnapping sisters or being total dweebenheimers. Hey, it was the 90s, shit like that sold like hotcakes. Here's some fun trivia for you. Art of Fighting was created by the same people who used to make Street Fighter for Capcom. So they literally just left and then made their own Street Fighter with blackjack and hookers. And it's not very surprising when you see how many of Ryo's moves got copied over from Ryu. In fact, him and Robert could be considered one of, if not the first ever Shoto clones, before it became an actual category. While the series pitted off over time and the gang got the Captain Falcon treatment of only showing up in the big crossover game, I think that they were pretty cool back then. Now that you got your background information down, let's get to the point of today's video. Known in Japan as Battle Spirits Ryuko no Ken, the Art of Fighting OVA was directed by Hiroshi Fukutomi and animated by Studio Kame, the same studio that blessed us with the Fatal Fury movies, Kirby Right Back At Ya, and Initial D. It loosely adapted the events of the first game and was dumped on Japanese audiences in 1993, about a year after the first game came out. Then, 4 years later, US Manga Corps picked it up and gave it a full English localization in 1997. The movie received significantly negative receptions from Western audiences. But is it really as bad as people say it is? Yes. There's a lot going on in this anime. It feels a bit difficult to figure out where to start. But the box art gives us a pretty good hint. The character designs. I don't think that's Ryo. Everyone else looks like their in-game counterparts, but I guess Ryo's dyeing his hair black now? Is he going through a phase? For some reason, they decided to make Ryo and Robert look less like their in-game version and more like the live-action actors that they had for the game's commercials. But why though? It's so unnecessary. You can't even see them half the time because the commercials are dark as hell. Just make them blonde. They also changed Yuri's design, but I like this one better. It's a lot more interesting than the original one. Her design in the movie is actually based off of her actress, Ayumi Hamasaki, who for some reason wasn't credited in the movie. By the way, that's never a good sign. Instead, the credit goes to Kaori Hiyori, who just plays her in the video games. The actual story of the movie is pretty much the same as the game, where Mr. Big kidnaps Ryo's sister Yuri, so Ryo and Robert go around town trying to beat the shit out of him. There's just a minor twist. You see, in the original game, Mr. Big kidnaps Yuri because... But in the movie, it's because Ryo and Robert get caught up in some kind of plot involving a priceless jewel, so Yuri's used as a bargaining chip. While it does kinda suck that it's not a one-for-one adaptation, it makes the plot a lot simpler. Plus, at least there's not any anime-only damsel in distresses. Nope, they use the canon one. Also, the movie begins and ends with Ryo trying to catch a cat, but failing every time. This actually represents how anyone in the fighting game community cannot get pussy. And not only do the characters look weird, they fuck up a lot of personalities too. The worst of them all, by far, has to be what they did to Ryuhaku Todoh. Granted, in the first game, he's the first guy you fight, so you don't really get too much time with him, but he's the master of a martial arts school that rivaled Kokugen Ryu. But in the anime, he's a loud, bumbling cop that keeps screaming that he's gonna find the diamond within 3 days or he's gonna kill himself. Why? If you wanted a trope like this, just make an original character. If you wanted to include Todoh, just include Todoh normally. Or, and this might be a bit of a wild idea, make a different anime. And then you got Jack who, well, Actually, now that I think about it, I don't have any problems with Jack. Jack might be the only accurate character in this movie. Congratulations, all 4 Jack fans! I cannot say the same about John, though. Like, he really annoys me. In the games, he's okay. A bit of a misogynist, but like, I'll take that over fucking Chuckles McGee over here. Like, 70% of his lines are just him giggling.
Robert, wait!
He can't hear you.
What's so funny? What's so funny? Shut up. I can excuse misogyny, but I draw the line at being obnoxious. They also changed some stuff with King in ways that's not as bad, but also kind of as weird. Mainly in the fact that in the anime, she's just fully presented to be a woman. The reason it stands out was because King's gender was a big secret in the first game. All the art makes her look pretty androgynous, and even the manual refers to King as a he. You only get one hint about her true gender during her fight, and it's a bit of a blink and you miss moment. When you use a special attack to end the battle, her shirt will rip open, and then you see something. But in the movie, they don't even try to hide it. That's just a woman. There's a very good chance that this is how someone in 1993 learned that King was a woman. Damn, not only is the movie bad, it's spoiling the game for you. It's also worth noting that Robert spends the entire movie trying to flirt with King.
Well, if I win, I get your telephone number.
Which is really funny, cause King is gunning for Rio. Also, Robert, back up. Aren't you dating Yuri?
Whatever happened to your passion for Yuri?
Like, listen, dude. I get it. Like, I get it. But you gotta slow down. You know, I should be grateful. At least they show up in the movie. There's not a single trace of Mickey Rogers, Lee Pai Long, or Mr. Karate. Like, Mickey and Lee being cut out, I can live with. No, I can't. I actually can't. I'm so mad. But how do you cut out the final boss of your video game? Imagine the Mario movie, except instead of Bowser, Mario and the gang has to fight against, oh, I don't know, the Koopa brothers from Paper Mario. Okay, maybe they were a bad example because holy shit, I would love to watch that movie. The cherry on top here is the fact that a year later, the sequel confirms that Mr. Karate is just Ryo's dad. So not only did you leave out an important character, you left out a really important character to the lore. Oh, and I forgot to mention, the English dub for the movie is at best charming, but not without its awkward moments.
But there's really nothing wrong with your best friend being your sister's boyfriend, is there?
I'm willing to guess that it's a matter of poor writing and not so great direction because the cast itself isn't bad. Did you know that Yuri is played by Veronica Taylor? You know, that Veronica Taylor? And I think she does a pretty decent job. Well, considering most of her lines are just her crying for help. Okay, I don't want to poo-poo on the anime too much, so I will give it this. It is a very fun ride. The action is entertaining for the most part, Rio and Robert have some pretty good banter, plus most of the movie is kind of just them being goobers. There are a lot of things I would change, but at the end of the day, I'm happy Art of Fighting has anything going for it. Anyway, this movie sucks, I love it, don't waste your time, and I would love to see the gang come back together and make OVAs based on the other 2 games. Because I want to know how they fuck up Ninja Boy.